Welcome to the Art Project. If you are new here, please subscribe. If you enjoy this video or get anything out of it at all, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. We are going to do a work of art where we are actually learning composition. The first thing you're going to do is create a bunch of thumbnail sketches that help you decide on, number one, what you want the poses of the individuals in the work of art to be, and number two, what kind of composition you want in your work of art. This is fairly standard for just about any work of art that you might do. So here in my sketchbook, you can see me drawing several thumbnail sketches. Thumbnail sketches should not take you more than about a minute or two per thumbnail sketch, not including maybe some of the writing you might add to the side, notes, and so on. So here I did 6 different thumbnail sketches to help me make decisions about poses and composition. Once you have completed that, you're going to start taking some photographs of, in this case, yourself. I set my camera up on a tripod and I took a bunch of pictures of me and then I printed them all out. Once I got them all printed out, I selected several that I liked and I cut them out and combined them into a sort of collage in order to create the makeshift image that I wanted. So here I am at the dry erase board, and then another picture of me turned around, and then another picture of me slapping my forehead. This is the combination of images that I wanted. And so now I'm going to create another thumbnail sketch where I combine these images, and I'm basically doing a value scale here. I'm trying to set it up in such a way that it really looks like one picture where I determine what values need to be where, also learning the values that are in my particular reference photos and so on. This particular project is kind of quick, step by step to doing this, but you learn so much from redrawing your reference photos. If you think you're going to draw it freehand, well, if you're a professional, you might could do that. But if you are a new student, you probably cannot just draw things straight out of your mind, because the image in your mind is nothing more than a vague memory, a dream. And so it really helps to have reference photos, which is what I have here in front of me to look at and to work from. And so now I'm creating just kind of a basic, quick, rough draft of what I want my bigger picture to look like. Just kind of get the hang of it, get familiar with it, get to know it, you know. Once I have this kind of established and some of my problems worked out, and by the way, it's a lot cheaper and easier to work out problems on a small scale in your sketchbook than it is on the bigger 18 by 24 paper or canvas or whatever it is you're working on. So the next step is to prepare your paper or your canvas. The way I'm doing this here is I was going to do a charcoal drawing, and so I'm spreading charcoal all over my picture so I can erase into it and draw into it and that sort of thing. This is my base, and I'm laying out some charcoal tools here that I like to use. Then I'm going to draw my image in using my preferred. You're going to do it using your preferred method if you're doing this in acrylic paint or whatever. But I'm going to draw this in with some vine charcoal, because vine charcoal is real easy to kind of like manipulate, wipe away, erase, do whatever. It's kind of a really light, almost like really light pencil. I'm going to do that, use this. If you're doing this in something else, maybe you're doing it in acrylic paint, then this might be where you put in your underpainting. Then I'm going to begin shading in everything. Again, I'm doing it in charcoal, so I'm shading everything in here with my charcoal pencil. And most of the stuff that I'm going to do here at first is just charcoal pencil, but eventually I'll come back and erase in and out of it to get my final picture. If you're doing this in acrylic paint, this might be where you do your underpainting, where you lay in some values with, your sepia or your your base colors, if you're doing several different colors. If you're doing this in oil paint, same thing. This is where you would lay in your base coats, your underpainting. then basically you just keep on working it. So I did this mainly in charcoal because I could do it pretty fast and get this accomplished. This video on composition and everything, I could get it accomplished pretty fast. But if you could easily do this in acrylic paint or oil pastel or whatever it is that you're doing. And this is the stage where I'm just kind of finishing everything up and going in and adding details and so on. So let me give you a couple of other things to consider basically about the composition. There are two major parts of composition that you need to remember before you start this whole assignment. One is, what is your emphasis going to be? And the second one is, what structure are you going to use? You can show emphasis in a number of ways, whether it's contrast. That contrast could be in value. That contrast could be in color. You can use faces or figures. People's attention are normally drawn to faces and figures automatically. I could have a photograph of a big, really busy, chaotic pile of garbage, and if there's a person near it, your attention is going to be drawn to that person. And so faces and figures are a big part of composition. If you don't have faces or figures in your composition, then you're kind of back to the first one, which was contrast. Third way to demonstrate your emphasis or to bring the viewer's attention to the emphasis or the focal point is guiding lines. Imagine arrows pointing at your emphasis. That would make it real obvious what your emphasis is, but they don't have to be as obvious as arrows. It could be the rays of the sun pointing to the sun, or rays behind an image, or a road that leads, a path that you can go down, that your eyes can go down, that lead to that particular image. And then the second thing was structure. And in this particular picture, I used symmetry. It's kind of the same on both the left and the right, which draws your attention to the middle, which is the most important part of my simple drawing here. But you could also use things like the golden ratio, the golden triangle, rule of thirds, and all of these are explained in the slideshow that I show in class. So anyway, that's the whole project for me in a nutshell. I hope it works out for you. Do the best you can to do this. And this is it, just kind of step by step. Please give me a thumbs up if you got anything out of this video. Please take pictures of your work, share it on Instagram or Facebook, and tag me in it so that I can see what it is that you produced after watching my video. I appreciate y'all watching. It's your turn to go make some art.